Hey YouTube, welcome back. This is basically a post-match analysis for the No Quitters game that I played. I was playing as Egypt. I had a really good tech lead, and honestly I should have won the game, but I went on to lose out to Japan. I didn't really build enough units and I wasted time attacking Arabia, which wasn't really necessary. I needed to be more aggressive and take out the empire of Mr. Panang a little bit sooner, but I didn't, and so I think that's what led to me losing the game. So I let him play the game out and finish grabbing a victory condition so that I could get to the score screen and maybe just do a little bit of analysis. So you can see the demographics here, which shows the final demographics of the game, and as you can see I ended up on 86%, but I was, at the same sort of level as him for most of the game. And if I go into the replay tab, we can actually see that. For those of you who've never really looked through this section before, it's really useful. There's all of this stuff that shows, what turn cities were founded and things. As you can see here, actually, I was the last person to found a city. As you can see, I did it on turn 3. Most people did it on turn 0. The Carthage did it on turn 1, so they waited 1 turn, and I waited 3 turns to found my city. And if you go down here, then you can see lots of other cool statistics and things of what turn things were happening and what turn cities were founded and wonders were built and stuff like that. But that's not what we're going to look at. We're actually going to look at the map first of all. So this is the map, and as you can see, it starts on turn 0, and you can see the positions of all of the city-states here. I, of course, was around this area, and you can also see where the people who founded on turn 0 were. And if I just play this out, you can see, there I go, I found my first city, and very early on you'll notice that, look at that, extremely fast expansion by the Aztecs, and you'll see Sweden expand very rapidly as well. They get up 4 or 5 cities very quickly. So if we just pause it now, we're at turn 60, and as you can see I have just put up this city over here. I've had this one up for a few turns. Dido, Mr. Panang, expanded very, very slowly, the Carthaginians, and only put up 1 city up here, plus their capital. So they, like me, were focusing quite heavily on wonders and on growth in their cities. Sweden was really stunting their growth but trying to grab a lot of land, and Japan, as we know later on, there was a lot of mountains in this sort of region here, so there wasn't too much room for him to expand. As we later found out, this was a very strangely shaped Pangea. You can see it all here very clearly, but this very thin peninsula meant that basically these 2 civs were in a small little world of their own, effectively. It was almost like playing a continents map with these 2 on their own and then everyone else, or maybe even just us 2, these 2 and these 2. So it was really, really a very strange map to be playing on. But let's continue to go forward a few more turns. We'll pause it at around turn 80, I think. So here we are at turn 80, and as you can see, the Japanese have barely made any difference at all, nor has Sweden. They've just sat there and let their cities grow up. But the biggest change really is from Arabia, myself, and the Carthaginians. As you can see, he's put up his 4 expansion cities. He did only have this city up here, and he's put down 3 extra, 1 all the way up here in the top corner behind that city-state, which we saw later on in the game, in the later stages. I have began my real effort to start pushing down and expanding around here. In the next 20 or 30 turns you're going to see me put down all of the cities that I put over here, and the Aztecs and Arabians have basically settled their land and they're both quite happy with what they got. I think Arabia puts down 1 more city over here. So let's resume again. And as you can see, there's the next Arabian city, and here are all of my new cities. So let's pause it at turn 120, or 121, because I'm a little bit slow. And this is basically everyone has now established their land. We can see that there's still not been any wars, or maybe there have. I don't know what happened between these two early game. I must assume that they probably did have a war, because he was really trapped on his own, and I think I was actually the first civ he even met, aside from Arabia. Because he certainly didn't get a scout out to my land. So he was, I mean, really he was at a terrible starting position. Both of these guys had really horrific starting areas. I think the best starting area was probably myself and Sweden, and the Carthaginians area was quite nice too. Japan did very well out of what they had. I feel like he played the best out of everyone in the game. Mr. Penang also really played very well, and I think that I played reasonably. I think that I probably had the most advantageous position on the map, the best start by quite a long way. Having these two religious city-states here and here meant that I got a religion before anyone else, because I could grab that desert folklore, which he really wanted, and I also managed to get the Petra in my capital city. So let's just push forward, and as you can see, the war has broken out. It's turned 130, and war has broken out between Sweden and Japan. Now this is a real game-changing part of the game, I think. I feel like at this kind of point is when I should have started being aggressive as well. As soon as I saw him being aggressive towards Sweden, I should have gone aggressive towards the Carthaginians above me. By this point, I think I had met both of these guys. I was trading all of my resources away. I was doing really well on happiness, really well on growth. You can see how much the borders of all of these cities have expanded. And I was at a tech lead at this point, and I also had started saving up my great scientists. And so we've pushed on a little bit further, and as you can see, nothing really going on over here. These guys have really stagnated and fallen behind as we get later into the game. Japan has basically taken out Sweden. I think it was quite an easy fight for him, and now you can see the war has begun against the Carthaginians. Now at this point I knew what was going on, and I think now is when I actually declared war on him. So I was actually fighting a lot of very small skirmishes around here. I think honestly it was a waste of my time. I should have just accepted a peace treaty, which I think he did offer, and just focused my efforts elsewhere, perhaps taking out this city-state so that I had an easier position to defend from this side, because that's where he eventually attacked me from. The other thing is that I could have easily built up a navy as well. This city down here was a coastal city, so I could have easily built up a navy and perhaps gone around and attacked this, which was also a coastal city, and was his capital as well. And had I managed to take out his capital, then I would have had a really, really strong city, and perhaps taking out these as well would have given me the opportunity to take over the bottom half of the map. The other option, of course, would have been to attack him as soon as I knew that he was at war. He actually defended quite well. I feel like if I hadn't attacked him when I did, he would have held off Japan for a bit longer. And so there you can see he actually takes out the city-state at the top. So he clearly had a very big army. I think that was Warsaw, the city-state that he took out. But you can see he clings on for a very long time. I've taken over this city and I attack him, and at the same time that I attack him, Japan manages to take both these cities, and I think that's because he spent probably around 1,500 or maybe more gold to defend this city. And had he spent that up here, then maybe he would have clinged on for a little bit longer. The real question is, were my units over here really worthwhile in taking over these cities? And the answer to that is definitely not. Here you can see, at this point, I've taken over his capital. Japan is also attacking his capital, and I've taken over the capital over here. Now, the Aztecs declare war on me, and I think really they just did it for fun, and to make things difficult. I think that they thought that I was going to win the game. At this point I was also under the illusion that I would win the game, but Japan just simply had way too much production for me to keep up with, and they were actually at the same sort of tech level as me. So although our units were fighting toe to toe, he could produce a lot more than me, and I think he already had a bigger army than me as well. So as we play it out, we can see that he attacks me. He takes over my cities. Before he even took Thebes, so back around here, this is when I conceded. When he took this city off me, is when I conceded. Turn 170-ish. So just watching it play out, and I think it's actually bugged here because that was actually a Japanese-controlled city. And so I just let the game play out until he got his victory condition. As you can see, he went over and took over the world, and eventually he grabbed the what's it called? The United Nations, and he won from city-states. So it was actually quite interesting to see that he won from city-states. At the end of the game, I did notice that he started to ally up with a lot of city-states. I think he went down the patronage policy tree, which is a risky thing to do in this game because you're not putting points into the science tree, and it allows other players to simply deny you that victory just by killing the city-states. But he had the big enough army to support it, I guess, so it didn't really matter too much. Overall, it was definitely an interesting game. I think I should have won, though. So let's go and check out some of the graphs. Remember that, well, this isn't very useful. I actually think that they should probably put turns in this graph rather than the years, because no one really remembers the years, but they remember the turns that things happened on. So if we go by score, then you can see that actually I was only really in the lead for a very small amount of time. Most of the time I was behind. Oh no, I'm the purple one. I presumed I was the yellow one because, you know, I'm Egypt. You'd expect it to be yellow, but it seems that they've got the colours very strange on here for some reason. But anyway, so I'm the purple line. I was in the lead for a large chunk of the game. Certainly when I was at probably this point here is when I should have definitely attacked. I mean, the frustrating thing really is that the Carthaginians here, you can't really see their line very well, but they were very close to me for a lot of the game. It's only really at this sort of point where I start to make a noticeable gap between us. Also, you must remember that this is the score chart, not the army chart, so also army even doesn't bring into account how good someone is at defending, and Mr. Pangea is a very experienced player, so it would have been very difficult for me to take him. And I think that that point is really proven by how long he defended against the Japanese. So, military might, let's go on that chart. Wow. So this chart really it's not a very good chart, to be honest, because you can't even see it before a certain point, because I guess it goes by the unit strength, and at the start of the game a unit has like 4 strength and things like that, and at the end of the game they get like 100 strength, and if you have 10 units with 100 strength, then, you know, that's 1,000 strength. If you have 10 units of 4 strength, then that's 40. And so I guess that's why this chart is so incredibly useless. Hopefully they fix this in the new version. I didn't actually look at this chart before, so I didn't realise it was going to be so useless to look at, but you can see that only just, but back down here we were equal army size, roughly. So again, you know, that lines up with the score chart on when I should have started to become a bit more aggressive. If we go and find it. There's the score one. Well, anyway, it doesn't really matter. If we look at land, you can see that big jump where I take a massive leap in front of everyone else before he declares war on Sweden. But again, land is not the most telling thing. Army and science are the most telling things. I'm not sure if there is one on here for science. Science per turn we can look at. And as you can see, actually the Japanese were ahead of us for basically the entire game on science per turn, but I was stealing techs off them, and I'd saved up my great scientists, and I think that's really what carried me through. I think it was probably around about here that I just spammed out my great scientists, and I was actually ahead of him on tech at this point. It doesn't show it on here because this is science per turn, but I was ahead of him on tech at this kind of area. But his tech just went way through the roof as we got further into the game. The game actually ended around about here, All of this is just him conquering the rest of the world, but the game ended somewhere around this level. Because I remember when he was winning the game, he mentioned that he was at around 1,200 science, which would be probably this point here. In fact, you can see where mine starts to go down is when he starts conquering my city, so it was actually around about here that he won the game. So, yeah, I mean, it was definitely an interesting game. I hope that you guys did enjoy watching it. My population did very well. Overall, I feel like I did play well in this game, just not well enough. I wasn't aggressive enough. Having Mr. Panang as a neighbour made that difficult, and also the terrain was very hard to fight a war over, which is why I was so hesitant. But it was a good game, and I really enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys did too. So I'll wait and read the comments before I decide if I do more Let's Plays of online games, because I do feel like it was probably a lot more boring to watch. I wasn't quite as talkative because after the first few episodes my voice was starting to go a bit, I guess. And there wasn't really, it felt like there wasn't that much to talk about because I was just expanding, and it was a very passive game, you know. All of the wars really in this game happened in the late game, and so yeah, it wasn't, I guess it wasn't the most action-packed game, but it was an enjoyable game for sure. And I enjoyed playing as Egypt as well. And of course my religion did amazing in this game. I think at one point I actually had 40 cities. I'm not sure if there's a graph for that. Let's see if there's a graph for religion. I don't think there is. It doesn't look like there is anything for that. Oh, there is actually a number of known techs, so this actually is a more accurate representation of who had the tech lead. So as we look at this, we can see that when I spammed out my guys was around here, and it did give me the tech lead just for a little while, but not very long. So really it was just us three in this whole game. Really the others were all lagging behind from the start, and yeah, it was a good game though. So let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the series, or if you'd rather me play games offline. I'm not going to stop playing online because I really enjoy playing these games. I've played several that I haven't recorded. This is the first series that I did record. But yeah, again, just let me know what you think. I'm probably going to go and start uploading some of the other episodes now whilst I record a new series for playing offline. I've had a lot of requests on who to play, and I think I'm going to go with Austria. I actually had a very enjoyable game online as Austria, and I was doing very well, and I took over a few city-states, but eventually lost at war. And as the guy pointed out in the comments, their unique ability makes for some very different games. Because instead of going for a big army and conquering the world, you can literally just work on allying city-states and then just incorporating them into your empire, paying the gold and getting them into your empire. And the cool thing is that when you take over city-states, you get the free units that city-state had. And as you can see, the game is actually still playing in the background. I actually left this up overnight because I was very tired after playing a game for that long. And I'm recording this the next morning, and so it's been ticking through these turns on its own with no one in the game all of this time, just continuing. So, and actually I'm still alive in this game. I've still got my capital city, and someone's attacking me. I should go and defend. Look, you can see it in the background. There's been nukes used. It's level 14. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Leave your comments. I'm going to go and start recording a new series, and hopefully you enjoyed watching this one. Leave your comments, let me know, and I'll see you in the next episode, guys. Thanks for watching.